This guy has permanently changed my thoughts on how I view the term Milwaukee fanboy. This thing is massive, absolutely massive. This is the new 18-inch M18 Milwaukee fan that also can be run off a cord. Milwaukee's new fan is model number 0821-20. It is a bare tool. This fan will reach out 50 feet and has an impressive 13.5 mile-an-hour airspeed coming out the front. It moves a lot of air on high, 3,400 CFM. It is 3 speeds. Blade diameter is 18 inches. If you're looking at the width of the total machine, it's 23.3. Height is going to be 26.5. Length, 11 inches. Total weight of this tool is 17 pounds. It's going to take a M18 battery, any of them, or it will run off of a extension cord, which I think is pretty cool. It is not a battery charger. If we're looking at runtime, Milwaukee's claiming 2 hours on a 5 amp hour battery on high and 5 hours on a 12 amp hour battery on high. So again, here we are looking at approximately 2.5 amp hours per hour of fan time. That is significant as far as how much this brushless motor is taking in. On low, we're looking at 9 hours with a 5 amp hour battery and 23 hours with a 12 amp hour battery. So that is pretty decent. If you're gonna run this on high, maybe it's time to put an extension cord to it. This fan is very impressive, from the build quality to its size to even how quiet it is while it's running. This is level 1. And the microphone's right next to it. You could have this in a corner of your house, anywhere. You'd never even notice it. From the back, you can feel the air being sucked in around the corners. From the front, it's moving a significant amount of air. Level 2, kind of ramps up to it. That's it. A very quiet hum. A lot of air movement. So if this is in a large room, it's going to still be able to fill it, which is very surprising. Here's level 3. Kind of gives you a jet engine feel as it ramps up to it. A little bit louder, probably because I'm right here, but if I move away a little bit, it's not loud at all. So 20 feet away, we got the paper straight out, which is not a big deal, but the amount of air is impressive. Now I'm about 40 feet away. Still moving this paper. If I move over, it's interesting because it's still pushing the paper back significantly. For a fan on the job site, where are you gonna put the air? Where you need it. And the nice part about this is it will go anywhere you want. Complete 360. I think that's important. You're gonna dry something directly up on the ceiling, get it where you need it, put it there, and move a lot of air. This fan has a 1-year warranty, and I've been doing all this testing on battery power because I think it's best to kind of set expectations at its lowest level. With that said, here is going to be corded power, and I also have a forged battery I'm going to put in it. So let's take a listen. That's high. I'm going to drop in the battery, which isn't going to change anything. Now I need you to listen right here as I unplug it. It drops down significantly. We'll plug it back in. Hear it drop down and come back up. There it goes, dropping down. Plug it in, it's going to drop down again and come back up. And we're pushing a lot more air on corded than we are battery. Almost the difference between going from level 2 to level 3. I only have one of these guys, and it's going to be harder for me to show you this, but these are also stackable. So if you invest quite a bit of money in these, you can stack them up. There's a button here and around. There's 4 of them. And then in the back, you'll see these little areas here. Those buttons fit in there, and they will stack up so you can store them real easy. As you would also expect, this is going to be impact resistant and dust and water resistant per Milwaukee. I can see with the build quality here how they can say that it really is built quite well. So the front is all plastic. It's going to stop anyone from putting their fingers in. The fan is actually towards the rear. The back of this is metal. and that's got much smaller holes that go through it. This is obviously an area that's going to need to be cleaned, and if you need to clean the fans, Milwaukee says to remove the front. Probably for safety reasons, they don't want you to remove the metal in back, although it would be a lot easier and closer. And if you need to use soap or water to clean anything up on the inside, they're saying that's going to be okay. Obviously, I'd try to keep it away from the brushless motor, and I would remove a battery and not have it plugged in while you're doing so. Now, the elephant in the room, this guy alone, without a battery, without an extension cord, is $250. So it might be one of the more expensive box style fans that are out there. It does move air. There's no doubt about it. It moves significant amount of air. In fact, in this barn area that I'm in, we're segregated off to about 2,000 square feet. And I think you could put this in a corner and cover most of it. It's that impressive. But again, you're paying for that in $250. This is a pretty sweet setup. It's not for everyone. It's probably going to be for general contractors more or less because it's cost prohibitive. With that said, with the battery or with corded, it still has pretty impressive power. Battery's a little bit less, corded is more, and wow, does she rip. So again, most of the tests that I did here showing you how much it was pushing out was all on battery. I want to kind of set expectations a little bit lower, but with that said, it's hard to really show you from 40 feet away how much air a fan moves. And trust me, it's moving quite a bit. If you're going to use this long term, again, I go back to corded. If you're going to put it in an area or in a basement, run it on low, and you want to dry out the basement and you need it to go overnight and there's no power there, throw a 12 amp hour battery on it, put it on medium, right? You don't even have to go to low. Low is going to be 23 hours. Put it on medium, you're going to get a solid 12 hours out of it, whatever, maybe 15. It's going to depend a little bit on your 12 amp hour battery, and I hate to say that, but it will. And rock and roll. Pretty sweet thing. I'm very, very interested in your comments. Please put some of them below, not only on the fan size, the performance, but also the cost. What are you willing to pay for something like this? It interests me a lot. I appreciate your time. Give us a like in this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you again. Have a great day.